సతీష్ మరి ఆన్లైన్ వాళ్ళ పరిస్థితి అనౌన్స్ చేస్తే ఉందా లింక్? ఓకే ఓకే దెన్ am I audible over here over the web? Yeah. Okay, as you are seeing on the screen, there are some couple of sessions. Core Java is offered, and then the second one is for freshers. I think it is AMCAT is one exam which I think there was one more one. I don't remember, it has been long. So basically, if someone is interested in Core Java, or if you know someone who is looking out for Core Java, there is some Core Java happening over here. Okay, how many of you want to go to that session? జావా నేర్చుకుందాం అని కోరిక మంచిదే, తప్పేం కాదు, రైట్? సో but if you are from testing background, try it out. If you are from non-testing or non-dev background, I don't think so. ఏదో ఫ్రీగా ఇస్తున్నారు కదా అని వెళ్ళి కూర్చోవద్దు, కానీ టైం వేస్ట్. ఓకే, సో the second one is for freshers. If there are any freshers in the room, irrespective of what you are doing, I would recommend you to go to the second session. Okay, and there are some new batches that are announced. Yeah, Hadoop and campus recruitment training, right? So if you know anyone, or if you are interested in this, you can go ahead. And by the way, I didn't like the name Satyam campus. It should be Satyam Theatre campus, I think, right? We have a new campus near Satyam Theatre actually, so that's what the mean, right? Okay, fine. Okay, so what was our problem yesterday? We were able to create an image, but the problem was the template which I have written is very much specific to me. I will not be able to give that template or give that file to you so that you can create infrastructure. That doesn't make sense. You generally don't write infra only for you. You want to make it as much reusable as possible. Okay, so in the last point of our class, we have just looked at that parts, and we have said that, okay, if this file didn't add these 4 areas, it would have been reusable, 4 or 2 or 1 or whatever it could be, based out of the scenario. All right, so let us look at that. Oh. Okay, so this was our file, right? So we have written these two, and we were able to basically install the stuff. Now if I say that I want Jenkins image, how will you create? What changes? Builder or provisioner? Yeah, we are clear on that, right? Yes. If you want Jenkins image out of Red Hat, then what are the different things which you need to change? Builder lo em marchali? Source AMI, give it to Red Hat AMI ID. And is there any other thing required? Username. Username for Red Hat is no longer Ubuntu, it is called as EC2-user. Use that. So any image, if you want to create the same stuff, right? So provisioners change regularly based out of what you are trying to install. Okay, builder will definitely be almost the same, okay, apart from your source image, right? So you have to decide whether you want to build whatever application which you want based out of what operating system. If it is Ubuntu, you don't need not change anything. Okay, sometimes even for installing you might not require T2 micro, might not work out for you. For example, if you are trying to give Artifactory, It doesn't make sense. Even you let it be an image, but your installation will not work. So in that case, we would try to choose the machine type which is more than that, T2 large or something else. Right? Okay. Now I have created this machine for the instance type T2 micro. So which means that the Nginx image which I create, the instance type is always T2 micro, right? Yes, నేను క్రియేట్ చేసిన ఇమేజ్ T2 మైక్రోకి మాత్రమే ఉపయోగపడుతుంది, అవునా కాదా? No, the image, the end output which I create is just an image. It can be used to launch the machine of any type. The only thing which I have created over here is the image type which we give, instance type which we give, is basically used to launch a machine in which the image creation happens. It doesn't mean that the image which you have created should be on that. Okay, did you got my point or no? The instance type over here is T2 micro. This is for the temporary machine which is used to create image. That doesn't mean that this image should be used only on T2 micro. It can be used on any other type. Right? Okay. So let us find out the areas. What are the different areas which we basically will remove? I'll remove access key out of it. I don't want access key from here. I don't want secret key from here. Okay. And for now, let us just move those two things. Okay. So that at least you should be able to create the Nginx image out of any account in US West 2, which is Oregon, right? Okay. So let me go ahead and start with a concept which is called as Packer variable. Okay. You define variable in a section which looks like this. Okay. And then whenever you want to use, you will be using in the way that is being mentioned over here. The syntax is very simple. So you would write, okay, variables colon, okay, and let us assume the first variable which I want to define is key1. Okay, for it would have some value, whatever the value is. Okay, and then key2. It would also have some value, basically whatever it means. Okay, now let us assume you want to use it in some area. So let us assume I am using it in builder. I'm using somewhere in the builders. Okay, so in builders there is an area which is called as okay, instance type somewhere. Okay, and your key1 consists of instance type. So how do you tell that pick the value from the variable is? Just use this double curly braces and use user just to tell that this variable belongs to a user variable. And then what is your key's name? Key1. Okay, and then you have to use this tilde symbol, key1. This is not basically, this is a symbol which you need to use. Most people confuse this key with this. No, they are different. Okay, we have to use this tilde symbol. That's it. Key1, not key. Similarly, if I want to use a key2, then I'll be using double curly braces, user, and then so if you want to use environmental variables by any chance, your system has environment variable and you want to use it, just remove that user and try env. The moment you use env, basically Packer will try to read the value from your environmental variables. So in Windows, so for example, you just click on set, you will get the whole list of environmental variables which are accessible for you. Let us assume somewhere I want to use the environmental variable which is Java underscore home. So I'll be writing double curly braces env tilde symbol Java underscore home. So whatever value has been set in here will be replaced in your script. That's how it works. So whenever you are speaking about variables, there are two kinds of variables which you can use. One is your defined variables, user variables. The second one is environment variables. Environmental variables is good for some things like Java or path variables or something like that. But don't expect don't expect your users to create environment variables for running your shell scripts. No, not a good practice. For running your Packer scripts, let us assume that I tell you, for creating this infrastructure, you need to create two environmental variables, which is AWS underscore access underscore key. Then only this Packer script will work. That's not a good assumption. No, not at all. అది మంచిది కాదు, right? So always remember, whenever you are playing with variables, use environmental variables only when it is understood. You install Java, you get Java underscore home. So for me to pick the variable value which is Java underscore home, why do I need to take this value from the user? Let me take it from environmental variable. That's the only case where you take it from environmental. Don't assume that your user will create environmental variable for every variable which you are going to create. That will make a mess out of your system. Not a very good thing to do. Okay. So for example, you want to basically set anything which is quite obvious, right? Home directory, C, Windows. Let us assume you are using Packer for Windows in some scenario. The home directory you want to use. So use environmental variable and then use home directory, because the home directory will tell you what is it. Okay. So these are the kind of things. Only for obvious things we use environmental variables. For all the other stuff, we'll be using user variables. So let me create, okay, variables over here. Variables can be at any point, the position doesn't matter, but as a practice we try to define it on the top. మీరు వేరియబుల్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్ గా ప్రొవిజనర్స్ తర్వాత రాసుకున్నా ఏమవుతుంది. యూ కెన్ రైట్ వేరియబుల్స్ ఈవెన్ ఆఫ్టర్ ప్రొవిజనర్స్, because this is a JSON and it doesn't matter where you write. The whole file will be read and then it would be done. But generally, to follow the normal conventions which people do, we try to follow the pattern, that we try to follow the order. So variables, and variables is not an array, it is an object, because it is an object of key value pairs, and you can define as many variables as you want. So I'll be defining a variable which I would call as AWS underscore access underscore key. Okay, and the value which I want to put is empty. I don't want to put any values, right? Similarly, AWS underscore secret underscore, okay. Even for this, I don't want to give any value. But if you want to give a value automatically, so that if the user doesn't enter this variable, it should have some default value, you can put this. Okay. So, but let us not do that. Let us not do that. So let me take a notepad, because I might need these values. I'm copying and basically using it at other context. This is my access key. Secret key. Okay. Now let us come back to the documentation. How does he ask us to use it? Use double quotes, curly braces. So I'll use a double quotes, right? And then variable is user variable or environmental variable? User variable. And what is the environment user variable's name? AWS underscore. Okay. Now again I'll come to here, secret key. Again, is it a user variable or an environmental variable? User variable. Now AWS underscore now if I want to define it for region also, how will I do that? I'll define a user variable called as region, and rather than using the hard coded value of US West 2, okay, I'll be using it. So let us look at this. I'll just go with AWS underscore region, and in here I'll be giving a default value of US West. Okay. Similarly, AWS underscore AMI underscore ID. Okay. So even for this, I'll be giving a default value of whatever is here. Fine. And you can define as many variables as you want. That's just the way you want it to be. So AWS underscore, what is that we'll be changing? Let us change the username. Okay. Username. The username is Ubuntu. Now I'll come over here, and rather than using US West 2, what is that I would be doing? I'd be saying double curly braces, user, and what is the key name for region? AWS underscore region. Okay. Use tilde symbol. Oh, done. Similarly, username. Okay. For username, I'll be doing user. Okay. AWS underscore. Okay. And for Packer, let us use this, which was present yesterday. Okay, then what it would do is every time you build an image, you will be getting a new AMI ID so that it will not conflict with the older one. And later on, let us delete all of them. Right? Okay. So AMI ID code on that. Okay, fine. So I'll go over here. User. Now for region, AMI ID and username, there is no need for me to give the input value while I am calling it. Because if I don't give the value, there is a default value. But for two things, the value is empty. So whenever the value is empty, it will become an required parameter for you. A parameter which has a value is a default parameter. A parameter which doesn't have any value, like what are access key and region key, access key or secret keys, those are required parameters. What do I mean by that? If you don't pass access key and secret key, your packer is going to fail. That's the whole idea. But if you don't pass username, you don't pass region, you don't pass AMI ID, it would still work because there is some default value. That's the whole idea. So whenever you are creating a variables, you can create a variable which has some default value or which doesn't assume any values. Whenever it doesn't assume any value, basically it is our responsibility to provide that value. That's the whole point. So simple. Yeah. Now let us try this. Let us try to run this. Okay. So yesterday I was using PowerShell, right? Now also I'll use PowerShell, but I'll use it from Visual Studio. Just use Control Shift P. You will get something called as focus terminal. I'm getting a PowerShell over here. Some of you might get command prompt. So in that case, Control Shift P, change, or just click on terminal. Terminal. Are you seeing select default shell? Click on this, then it will ask what is the shell which you want. Whether you want command prompt, whether you want PowerShell, or whether you want Git Bash. Since I want PowerShell, I'm not messing with this. But if you want to change, you can change this terminal to any of the prompts. Okay. So let me just expand this. Okay. The first thing which I'd be doing is packer. I'll look at the commands. Hyphen, hyphen. What does it say? What is the first thing which you would do? Packer, validate. Oh, we have to go to that folder, right? Okay, so packer validate. Yeah, syntactically we have no mistakes. Now packer inspect. It says you have the optional variables and we have some default values expected. All right. Okay, good. Now this is what you are trying to use. You have variables, you have builders, and then when we started, we just had builders. Now we have all the three sections. All right. Now I would run packer build. Will it work or will it fail? Pardon me? Fail. Why? There were two parameters which needed some value. Did we provided that value? It will fail. Okay. And now the first other thing is our credentials itself are not there. That's what it is trying to tell. You have provided the empty credentials and I'm unable to know what they are. So first thing, let me go to the AWS, and yesterday, if you remember, we have disabled our credentials. First, let us enable them back or create a new set of credentials. So our username was Packer, right? Yesterday, which we are, yeah, security credentials. First, make active. Okay. Now, how do I pass variable values? Okay. So, shall I shift to the PowerShell so that it is visible to all? But you can, when you are developing, you can use everything from Visual Studio Code itself. For me, I'm not doing this because the font is very much small and it might not be visible to all. Right? Okay. So, okay. Now, Packer build hyphen hyphen help, because I need to know how to pass arguments. Are you seeing anything var? There are two vars. One is var, the other one is var file. Let us worry about var file later. Let us now look at var first. Now, I'll be writing Packer build minus var. What is my key? AWS underscore AWS underscore access underscore key is equals to, I think we have copied that in the notepad, right? Okay. And similarly, I have one more variable. So one more var minus var. And what is the key's name? AWS underscore. So to recollect, I'm using this minus var key equal to value. Okay. So this is what I'm trying to do. Okay. Now, so let me come back to here. Minus var. It's okay. Single or double means the same thing over here. Yeah. In shell, it doesn't make much of a difference. Right. Done. So I provided two variables. There are other three variables also, but I don't want to pass them. There is some default value already there, but for these two variables there is no value. So now what is the JSON which I want? What is the packer which I want to build? Nginx dot JSON. Okay. Now let us see what happens. Happening. In the last case it was failing, but now it is working out. Okay. So this approach is good if you have less variables. Let us assume that you have 50 variables. Then it becomes difficult, right? Because hyphen var and entering 50 variable names and then writing it. So in that case, we use a var file. We create a JSON of variables. We create a JSON of variables. How do I write the JSON in that case? Curly brace, key name, colon, value. So there is no need for you to give 50 variable paths. Then easily give hyphen var hyphen file equals to whatever path of your JSON files. Let us do that in the next case. Right. Yeah. So obviously we know what would happen after this. It would create an AMI which is called as packer hyphen nginx hyphen whatever time it is. Right. Okay. So now let me create a variable file over here. New file. I'll call it as var dot JSON. Okay. So what are the variable values? All this. One minute. Right. AWS underscore access underscore key is fine. Okay. Oh, I cannot change anything now. Let me create one more variable while this is running. Is the execution finished? I'll give instance type as a variable also. Instance type, I don't want to use T2 micro, and in the variable file, I'll be using some other category for creating the image. All right. Or we can do one thing, we can change the region and try it out in different region also if you want. I'll be changing the region and AMI ID in the variable file. Yeah. Let us do that. That sounds better. So that we will have our AMI in a different region. Yeah. Now, in this file, are you seeing a secret key and access key? Yes. So is this file secured? Yeah. Okay. Remember, secret key and access key is the only thing which you always use via minor hyphen e. You will never write secret key and access key in your variable file. Always remember, secret key and access key, man, always we will use minus e. We will always enter the value whenever we are running it, because if you put it or store it at some place, it might lead to some hack. Someone might get into the stuff. So when I am writing this variable file, these two things, right? Even though I have written out over here, it will work, but this is not a secure way of doing it. So never write these things, delete them. Okay. Secret key and access key always I'll be running via packer build minus e AWS underscore secret underscore access key. I will enter them every time, because I don't know which user will be creating it, and I can't assume someone else's secret keys and access keys over here. So always remember, anything to do with usernames and passwords, you will always enter it. You will never write it in a file. Right? For example, in AWS we have secret key and access key. In Google Cloud, you might have something else which speaks about credentials. Any credentials, don't write them in a file. Always enter them. So packer build, in that command line argument, you should write it, because that is a value which you can basically change at your last stuff. Okay. Now, while it is running, let us assume that AWS region value is US West 2. This is the default value. Over here, I change it to US. Let us assume US East 2. Okay. When I run with a command which sounds something like this. Okay. Packer build. Okay. Minus var hyphen file var.json. Right. And then I give nginx.json. Which value will be applied? Will it create in US East 2 or US West 2? In which? You got the context, right? I am using a build command and I am giving a variable file. But the value which I am passing already has a default value. Okay. Whatever you are writing in your Packer file has the least priority. So we have a value in a Packer file and we have value in a variable file. So I said whatever is in the Packer has a least priority. So let us assume the priority of this is 0 and the priority of this is 1. So higher the number, it wins. So it will create the machine in US East 2. Now let us assume I do this. Minus var AWS underscore region is equals to US West 1. Now where it will create? Yes, West 1 or East 2? Okay. Yes. Individual argument will have more weight than variable file. Individual argument will have more weight than argument 1. So written directly in Packer JSON file, weight is 0. Written in your variables file, weight is 1. Directly passed in the arguments, weight is 2. So which has the highest number? 2. So US West 1 will be applied. Even though the value is present at 3 different places, that's how it works. In the file, least priority. In the variable file, next priority. Directly entered with hyphen E, highest priority. Okay. So any variable value can be changed when you use hyphen E, or not hyphen E, man, hyphen var. I'm using some other, when var has more weight than var file. That's the whole idea. So whenever you pass individual arguments, they have more weight than argument file. Arguments file has more weight than your Packer JSON. That's the whole point. Okay. And one other thing which people also tend to do is the Packer file, which we have stored as a JSON, they also store with .packer. They also store with .packer extension. For example, we have written nginx.json, right? They might write the same file, then they might call it as nginx.packer. Both are same. Whether you write nginx or .packer or whether you write nginx.json, Packer expects JSON content in that file. Okay. So .packer I normally don't tend to use it, because if I use .packer, I will not be getting help from the editor. If I use JSON, the editor will help me treating the file is JSON. But if I use .packer, Visual Studio Code will not know that it is a JSON file and I have to type everything. Okay. So even if I have to change it as a packer, I will write a JSON file, complete all of that, and then change the file's extension. Yeah. Okay. .packer or .json, they are the same thing. All right. So AMI has been created. Now services EC2. I'm deleting both of them. I don't need both of them. All right. So var file, variable file, and var. Packer file, var file, and variable directly. Did we got the essence of all of these three? Any doubts on these three areas? Yeah. Now let me look at questions. We are defining all the variables in the same JSON file. Can't we define in the separate JSON file? There is no need for you to define in separate JSON file because you are just putting default values over there. You are not defining the values. The actual different file in this case is the var.json, whatever we have written. Okay. Here, to be very specific, you are declaring variables. This we are declaring variables, right? And we are telling that some of our variables have some default values. So declaration generally is done on the same file. Okay. The values which you pass to these variables, there are two other ways. Use a variable JSON or use a variable directly. That's anyway different. So there is no need for you to separate this one out. Yeah. Okay. Can we define Azure and AWS variables in it? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's because Packer doesn't know whether it is Azure or AWS. The Packer only thing it knows is it is variable. And if it is Azure or AWS, builder knows it. Avuna? To do the thing in AWS or Azure, who knows that stuff? Builder knows that stuff. Are we passing the variables to the builder? Yes. Now I write one more builder over here, which is let us assume that which is related to Azure. It doesn't matter. You can use some variables, you can reuse it. Because for a Packer, you have variable, you have builders, and you have provisioners. What builder does is that builder's responsibility. This is a generic stuff. Right? So from the Packer, same Packer file, you can create a EC2 machine, you can create a Azure virtual machine, and you can create a Google Compute machine also if you want, or Google Compute image, not machines. Okay, so you can do all the three, but generally that is not a very good approach to do. That we will do. That is better in the case of Terraform because there you create machines. Images are generally not mixed. So per image you have only one file. But remember, the concept over here doesn't speak that you have to use it only in one builder. You can use it in the complete JSON file. So you can use it anywhere. All right. Okay. So if it's Jenkins or any other T5 MC image creation, is it okay to T2 micro as instance type? Yeah, for creating it's okay, but sometimes, okay, image creation is fine. But whenever you are trying to start the services, right? Sometimes you might see failure messages. I'm getting a lot of Artifactory failures. Most of the reason for that failure is memory issues. Okay, and whenever you create an image, you want your service to be in running state. That will be in a failed state whenever you are trying to create an image, and that will propagate across irrespective of the machine. You have to log into that machine, restart the service, then your application will work. So that's why if you are trying to create an image for an application which is huge, use a huge machine. Don't use T2 micro. That's the whole point, right? But Nginx, Apache, or web server installations are not huge. They are simple. So that's why it's okay. Can you use variables in provisioners and post across JSON file? You can use variables in the complete JSON file. Use it anywhere. Use it anywhere, right? Yeah. Okay then. Now let us take one step ahead of this. Okay. Now, what I would do is, let me go to the Packer docs, builder, and VirtualBox. I want to create a VirtualBox image. Okay. So let us assume that you want to create a Ubuntu image in your system. Okay. Till now our type was AWS EBS because our end environment was on Amazon. Now you want to, what is your intention? Now you want to build an image which is for VirtualBox. So you would go to a builder which is VirtualBox. So let me show you a template. I'll not go through it, but if you want to create, that is not the purpose, but yeah, I'll show you some of the stuff. Packer templates. And there are a whole set of reusable templates which are already there in the blog. Okay, so yes, you have a builder section. All right, you have many different things. This is what I'm interested in. I'm interested in VirtualBox ISO. All right, so see what it does. Basically, he tries to use a URL, but remember in the VirtualBox, the most irritating thing is this boot command. The most irritating thing is boot command. Let me tell you what this is. Okay, for example, you are being asked in your company to basically create a VirtualBox image. All right, shall we do it manually like what we have done in the for the AWS? How will you do it? You launch VirtualBox. You will say I want a new my Ubuntu. Next, you set some memory parameters and then you say create. Okay, and then you say start, normal start. Okay, you select your ISO image. ISO is you go to the um, Ubuntu site, and whenever you want to download an operating system, you'll get a file format which is ISO. If you have it in some other folder, just click on it, and then you will be able to select any folder on your. You click on start. Okay, now what is the first key which I'll press now? English is fine. Now I want to go to the next page. What is that? Enter. Make a note of it. And then what is the next command? Enter. So 2 times I have pressed enter. So let me come back to this JSON file. Okay. Here the keys which you are seeing is for installation, whatever you have typed, you will try to write all of them. It might sound crazy, but that's how VirtualBox automation works. మీరు VirtualBox ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయడానికి ఏమేమి కీస్ అయితే ప్రెస్ చేస్తారో అవన్నీ ఇక్కడ రాయాలి. So this installation step you can simulate. If you try to do this, it would work. The first key he presses is escape, and then he waits for some time, and again escape. He'll wait for some more time. Then he is entering something called as /install/vmg something. Okay, so these are all the keys which that user has typed for installing VirtualBox. Okay, sounds like a crazy content, but unfortunately that is a reality, right? VirtualBox ISO, you have to enter the keys which you press, because VirtualBox doesn't give basically the packer the space to enter or override the boot commands. So you will be entering all of the commands. So for example, in your office, if they ask you to do any installation, please make a note of every command, every key which you are pressing, and then you go to the boot command and enter those values. That's how you do VirtualBox automation. Now click enter. Enter. You make a note of all of these keys which you are pressing. All right, then you use a side arrow. Just see what is that side arrow. You have to make a note of all of these things. Click yes. Here you have to give wait, because it has to wait for some time. Okay, and you can give time also. So wait for a particular period of time. All of this. Now you got an essence of it, right? Now let me go to the documentation. Okay, I think there is some link which tells what are the different keys which you can enter. Yes, yeah. So whenever you use backspace, you have to write that. Okay, so this is the only difficult part whenever you are using VirtualBox. Okay, because in VirtualBox there is no clear way. You have to use this. Make sense? Right. Now let me come back to this. Provisioners is fine. We will just log in into that machine and we will try to basically tell. Okay. In the post processor, you are seeing something called as So for whatever machine, virtual machine which you have created, if you want to create a Vagrant box, just use that post process. So that will be your own Vagrant box. Okay. So for the people who don't know about Vagrant, don't worry about that step. I'm not speaking to you. And for the people who know Vagrant, this is how your Vagrant images are created. You have seen Ubuntu Trusty 64. You have seen CentOS/7. How are they created? They are created like this. That's the whole point, right? So anything to do with image, you can create it over here. Okay. So what I've done over here is, okay, virtual machine image creation will not be the responsibility in many of your cases. Very few people might have it. Our major focus should be cloud image creation, right? So click over here, and in here. So for the people who are new to this site, please make a note of this: github.com/packer a square zone. This is a place where we will be having all of our classroom examples. Whatever I have done or whatever I will be doing, everything will be here. So come here and type Packer, and in here you will be seeing two stuffs or three stuffs. Packer zone is classroom examples, which makes sense to you as a DevOps stuff. Packer underscore templates, right? This is basically, this is not written by me, but this is basically forked from some other person, or basically from Atlassian, and all of these templates might be really useful to you. Here you will have AWS images, here you will have cloud images, all of the stuff. Okay, so whenever you are asked to work on Packer, you can basically refer to this. You can refer to this. And in for the people who know basically what is a provisioning, okay, I have some Ansible playbooks and cookbooks also over here, and then I have written some examples also. Okay, so are using added Chef and Ansible provisioning. So for the people who know it, let me go to the provisioner section and see what is there. So I have not used the shell provisioning, I have used Ansible provisioning. Similarly, you can use Chef provisioning to create a machine. So for the people who know Ansible and Chef, look at these examples. And for the people who don't know it, let us wait. We'll be learning that very soon, right? So Chef chesnappudu, you will have a provisioner type which is called as Chef, and to that you will be giving the path of your cookbook. That's it, right? Fine. Okay. Refer to these examples. I have shared these examples only because you can benefit out of it. There is no other reason. Okay. I have taken one popular repository and then made some slight changes to suit our purposes. That's it. Okay. From Packer, can we create Windows images? The answer is yes, but you will not find anything which is basically shared, because the problem is Windows images are licensed in most cases. You will not have the paid versions of it, but there are some images over here, but these things don't work. These things don't work because those links are no longer valid, but you can do it for anything. Okay, not this, not this. Okay, but the problem over here is the image which you are trying to get, the image URL, the ISO URL over there, which is present in your variable section. This link no longer serves Windows 10 image. So you can change that to whatever Windows 10 ISO wherever you have, then it would start working. But unfortunately, these links are not working right now, so you cannot create the images. Okay, these things only you have to change: ISO URL, ISO checksum type, and ISO checksum. It will change from every version to version. Okay, so Windows images, if you have to create, unfortunately use something like this, right? And don't, because this is not the only thing, there are many builders. So there are many builders, you can use anything, you can use anything. VMware, so for example, you are looking out for VMware. Some of us were trying in Hyper-V, but somehow, as I said to him, I don't believe in Hyper-V too much. It has some issues with the stuff. That's what you do over here. Okay, so but you will not be able to create a Packer image if you don't know how to do it manually. That's for sure. Packer ఇప్పుడు virtual box లో image create చేయడం simple. కాకపోతే you have to make a note of every key which you are pressing. But if you don't know how to create it manually, if you don't know what are the keys that you have to press to make that installation possible, you will never be able to automate. Never. It is not possible at all. The same thing with Hyper-V also. The same thing with anything. Any builder which you are seeing over here, you will not be able to basically use Packer if you don't know how to use it manually. So before automating in Packer, I would like you to do it manually once. Do it manually once. All right. So similarly, you can create Docker also. Most stupidest way of creating Docker images. I would never ever want someone in the classroom to use this. No, because Docker has given us a far better way to create image. So we'll be learning that very soon. Once we finish this basically infra provisioning and monitoring stuff, the next topic which we are going to start is Docker. We would learn the Docker the right way then. Okay, but you can still create Docker images from here. Okay, now file. What do you think this will create? So on your machine, if you want to create some file using Packer, you use the file provisioning. Okay, that's very small provisioning, but it works irrespective of your operating system. So you can, for even for Windows or Linux, you can use the similar kind of syntax. Otherwise, you can happily use shell provisioning and use touch. All right. If you are using PowerShell provisioning, you can use something called as new item. You can use any of these things. But if you don't know both of them, then you can use file provisioning to create a file in some path on your virtual machine's image. That's the whole point. Right. Now, not delaying it further. So this you understood, right? In VirtualBox, you have to go with boot command. Similarly, for every builder, the only way how you will come to know this is if you read this documentation. నేను డాక్యుమెంటేషన్ చదవనండి అయినా నాకు అన్నీ వచ్చేయాలి అంటే నాకు చేతబడి రాదు, వస్తే నేను నేర్చుకుంటాను మీద. దానికి దివ్య శక్తులు కావాలి, అయిన అదర్ లేవు. ఓకే, ఐ కేమ్ టు నో అబౌట్ దిస్ బికాస్ ఐ డిడ్ ఇట్. Yeah, I find it annoying, really horrible. Yes, but this is how you create images. Yeah, but when it comes to AWS, it is quite simple. When it comes to AWS, it is quite simple. Right? So the last exercise item, what we would do is we would try to create an image in Azure. Okay, and then let us try to create an Nginx in Azure. Okay, so I am not writing a very huge provisioning over here, because I don't want you to feel that if I don't know Linux, I will not be able to do it. This command anyone can type, right? కొత్తగా చేయని వాళ్ళు కూడా రెండు గుర్తుండిపోయినాయి కదా, sudo apt-get update and sudo apt-get nginx. But for the people who know Linux, for the people who know Ansible, and for the people who know Chef, try complicated things. Try complicated things. Create a Jenkins using Ansible. Create Jenkins using Chef, or use whatever we have learned in Ansible or Chef. Try doing that. Okay, for the people who know better shell scripting, try to write something complicated over here. I am using simple things because I don't want people who are not knowing Linux feel something disconnected. Okay, or who are learning Linux. Okay, రెండు కమాండ్లు రాయడం కష్టమేం కాదుగా. We have just written two things. Tomorrow, whenever you are trying to use the complicated stuff, these lines will be complicated. You might have a huge file. That's the only difference. But the basic essence of this is exactly the same. Right? Okay. Now, in provisioners in shell, I want to speak about one stuff which is used generally. So let me go back to the better is go with docs, provisioners, and you have many. Okay, and let us, I am interested in shell. Are you seeing? In shell, you can use inline. Inline is you write the commands then and there itself, or you give script. In the script, you give the path of your shell file. Okay. Now let us assume that you want to run 10 shell scripts one after the other. Then you can use script section, and then you will give array of paths. Okay. One shell script if you want to run. Let us assume that. Okay. In this case, whatever I have written over here, okay, is not in here, but it is in a shell file which is called as install nginx.sh. So here there is sudo apt-get update. Okay, you can write some stuff, echo updating packages, installing nginx, sudo apt-get install nginx -y. So you have a shell script now. Okay, in that case, you will not write inline over here. You will write something called as script, and then you would say install nginx.sh, because it is in the same directory. Okay, so if you don't want to give this, you can put it as a variable. Where is your shell file? Path of the shell file, create a variable, and here use the double quotes user shell script path. That's it. That's the whole idea. So how you optimize it is your part. So you can take it to the next level. నేను దీన్ని కూడా వేరియబుల్ పెట్టచ్చు. So rather than giving it over here, what I do is I create a variable, and in that variable what would happen is I can give any shell script now. The packer, the image which I used to create packer, I can use it to create Apache also now. Okay, so to create Apache, what is it I need to give? I need to give Apache shell scripts path. Ante kada. So let me do this job slightly. Let us increase the complexity of what I am trying to do. I'll create a new file where I will call it as install apache.sh. Okay, since the stuff is same, I'll try to copy this. Okay, here, right? Okay, now let me go to the variable section, or not variable, nginx.json. So here ami name, I will not use it, but ami name, ami underscore name, the default value is, sorry, packer yeah. And now for script there is path. Okay, so I'm just customizing this a lot. The functionality has not changed. So script path. Okay, so install nginx.sh, antena, right? Now over here I'll not be using this. I'll be using this as user script path, and over here user ami underscore name. Okay, now you tell me what would happen if I run this. I'm not running this, I'll be committing this, and I want you guys to run it. So packer build minus var hyphen file var.json. Okay, so yeah, I don't need anything in var.json, man. So let me go back to this. var.json lo pedda goppaga emi ledu, so let me use var. Okay, in the var secret key and access key anyway we'll be writing. I'm not writing about secret key and access key. So I'll write ami underscore name is equals to packer hyphen apache, and then I will be writing minus var script path is equals to install apache dot sh nginx dot json, whether it will install nginx or apache to now. Make sense? So I can replace that nginx.json to webserver.json or reusable stuff.json. So I've written one script, one packer script, but I have a different shell script. I have parameterized my variable file and I have parameterized the script location. So I can use the script to do any Linux based installation. Yes or no? Everything is parameterized. Let us assume I need a huge machine. Okay, I will have a variable defined for instance type. I'll be passing minus e instance type is equals to t2 dot x large or t2 dot large, whatever it is. So I can use the same shell script, same packer script file to do any Linux based installation. As long as I have a shell script, I can achieve it. Okay, so this is reusability. So rather than making it very much specific to your region, you can really write very generic scripts also. Okay, ikkada varaku meeku expect cheyaru. This is the next stuff where they don't expect you to write something like this in your interviews or whenever they ask it, but you can take packer to here also. ఇది పెద్ద కష్టం కూడా కాదు. So whatever is changing, parameterize it. My shell script was changing, so I parameterized it. I needed a different packer names every time. I parameterized it. My instance types change, I parameterize it. So whatever that is changing, you can write and you can basically parameterize it. So for example, provisioning. This is for, you can create a file called as shell provisioning.packer. Similarly, go ahead and create one more file called as Ansible provisioning dot one more Ansible provisioning and one more chef provisioning. Make it generic, and then you can use 3 packer files to achieve whatever you want for creating images with shell files, with Ansible, with chef. Create one more thing for PowerShell. Done. 4 files, you can manage everything. All of your work in your office you can manage with 4 simple files. Okay, create one provisioner which is very much generic, which takes shell scripts. Create one more packer file which is very much generic, okay, which takes Ansible. Okay, create one more packer file which uses chef. Create one more packer file which uses PowerShell. All of your cases are automated. Okay, but remember they are towards one environment. So for AWS I will have these four files. For cloud I will have these four files. For AWS, for Azure I'll write these 4 files. If I want it for a different environment, I'll be using the other 4 files. And remember, the scripts which we are passing can be used across anywhere, because if you want to install nginx, okay, on any Ubuntu machine, the commands, will they change? No. So you are making everything reusable. Okay, the image which you create for AWS, you might not be able to use builder, but you will be able to use provisioning. So make it as much reusable as you want. So tomorrow if they ask that they want to do the same activity in Google Cloud, so your builder section might not be reusable, but install apache.sh or install nginx.sh is the same. Okay, so whenever you are trying to create a packer, the right structure for packer would be, okay, let me not do notepad, let me go ahead and create it. D drive, let me go into this section and let me create a new folder structure. Packer. I'll create a folder which is provisioners, and in here I'll write 3 or 4 provisioners, whatever I use, shell. Okay. And let me write one more stuff, which is Ansible. Okay. And in here, I'll be creating subfolders which will tell what it does. Or I can directly write files, install apache.sh, install nginx.sh, and all of that. Okay. So this is my first stuff is done. And then I'll create a new folder, which I would call it as, sorry, I'll create a new folder, which I would call as templates. Okay. And one more folder, which is called as variables. And you can manage every infrastructure with this folder. Okay. So whenever you are using templates, okay, in these templates, you can go ahead and create basically something like, okay, templates for AWS, templates for VirtualBox, templates for Azure, templates for Google Cloud, whatever your company uses. Okay. So any template which you are using over here, if you want to do some installations, you will be referring to the provisioners shell or provisioners Ansible. That's the whole point. So create a folder structure which looks like this, where all of your packer is managed from this folder. All of your packer is managed from your folders. So if you want, if you have some var files, use it in this variable section. This is the right way of organizing. To be very specific, in our company, we organize using this because we use basically 2 kinds of environments for using these images. One is Vagrant Box, the other one is a cloud image. Okay. In both the cases, we want the same image. One time the builder is Vagrant, in the other case, the builder is AWS. So we use both. Okay. The end result is exactly the same because the provisioning file is same. Yeah. So this is a better structure of really using it. Fine. Did you got an essence of it? Yes. So can you use a packer to basically install Tomcat? Yes or no? So what is the unknown area there? How do I install Tomcat? Google for it. Install Tomcat on Ubuntu 16. You will get the steps. Write all of that steps in the shell script. Done. Okay. ఎవరైతే లినక్స్ రాదో వాళ్ళు మీరు నేర్చుకోవాల్సిన 4 స్టెప్లే. But rest of the steps are exactly the same. That's the whole point. Right? Fine. Okay. So we have only one Azure left, which I'll be doing it in the next class. And then I'll be basically looking into, I'll be starting something called as Terraform, need for Terraform and basically the stuff for it. Right? So tomorrow we will have Terraform class from 7 to 10, and all the cloud people, all the people who are doing AWS or Azure are also should be here, only because of the Terraform introduction. Because whatever I discuss tomorrow, the same is the concept when I speak about Azure Resource Manager or Cloud Formation. The purpose of Terraform or Cloud Formation or Azure Resource Manager is exactly the same. The only difference that Terraform has is Terraform can work with multiple cloud providers, whereas Cloud Formation works only with Azure, only with Amazon, and ARM works only with Azure. That's the difference. But the whole purpose of using Terraform or Cloud Formation or Azure Resource Manager are exactly the same. All right. So tomorrow we'll have Terraform class, and it is mandatory for cloud students also. Okay. Terraform packer అవసరం లా packer I don't mind it. You can use the clouds way of basically creating it. At least for the introduction of Terraform, make yourself available if you belong to the cloud stuff. Anyway, in DevOps you have to be here. Okay. So tomorrow we'll have that class, and packer one exercise which I want you to give is, okay, make a note of this. This is your task. You are asking for a use case, right? So I want you to use this. Okay, CentOS 7, you can replace it by Red Hat 7 also if you want. Okay. So blindly follow these steps. Okay. I want you to write a shell script, which is all of this, but I'm okay with even if you don't write this, editing files and all of that. Okay. This we will, because for this you need to copy a file. For the people who know SCP, you can use this because you can use a file provisioner and copy this file over there, right? So at least try to do till this point. Installing Tomcat. I want a Tomcat image. Okay. So this is my use case. Try it out. Create Tomcat image on AWS. I'm interested in Amazon itself. I'm not interested in VirtualBox and all of that. If you want, you can use a builder which is VirtualBox and do all of that stuff. I'm really not interested. Okay. Tomcat image on AWS, which is CentOS 7 based and Ubuntu based. Try both. Your Google query will change. Installing Tomcat on Ubuntu 16. That's it. So, but the problem is you don't see. Okay. So let me go to instances. Whenever you launch an instance, are you seeing anything called as CentOS 7 here? No. So for the people who don't find CentOS 7 over here, okay, go to AWS Marketplace, right, and click on CentOS. You will have CentOS 7. Okay, select this. Okay, and once you create a machine with this, you will be able to see AMI ID. I'm not sure. Yeah, create a machine and you will be getting the AMI ID. Just click on the image and then you will be finding out. Okay, you can use something like this or use Red Hat. Red Hat is directly visible. Red Hat 7 is visible. Okay, choose whatever it is. But I want you to create the same image. The purpose is same, but they are from two Linux distributions. One is from Red Hat, the other one is from Ubuntu. If you want, you can try OpenSUSE also. I'm okay with anything. Okay, so create an AWS image for Tomcat using that. And for the people who don't like Tomcat, you can also try Jenkins. Create a Jenkins image which is Ubuntu based and Red Hat based. Okay, so any installation I'm fine. I'm just giving you a hint of Tomcat. But if you don't like Tomcat, try something else. I'm really not worried what you're installing. I'm just worried what are the different things which you do. But always remember, whenever you are creating an image, when you start that image, the services should be started. For example, I've installed Tomcat. Then Tomcat image. You launch that image. Okay. There should not be no need for you to log in into that machine and say service Tomcat start. When you create the image itself, the Tomcat should be up and running. The same thing with Jenkins. The same thing with any other thing. Okay. So for the people who are new to Linux, you will come to know a new topic in Linux, which is called as enabling the service. Till now, we have looked at just starting and stopping the service. This activity will basically help you in understanding what is enabling the service. When you enable the service, services start automatically once you start your system. If you don't enable the service, you have to manually log in into the system and start the service every time. That's the difference. Ante. So you will see some steps which basically say chk config or systemctl enable some service. Enabling means start this service automatically whenever my system starts. That's it. This activity will help you learning that activity as well as something on Packer. Right? Are we good? So Tomcat on Red Hat based system or a Ubuntu based system. If you don't like Tomcat, try anything. Okay, but don't try Apache 2 or Nginx because it is already there. Okay, so now what I would do is I would be basically committing these whatever I have done into GitHub. Okay, now you go to the A square zone, Packer zone. You'll be seeing May 2018 and Nginx. Whatever example which I've done in the class is here. Yeah, you can use it. Okay, so my last precautionary step, go to IAM and deactivate the user. Don't forget this, because by mistake if you commit your secret key and access key to the GitHub, you will be getting a decent bill. All right, so now what I would do is I'd go to the security credentials and I would delete this itself. Tomorrow whenever you're using a packer, I'll be creating a new access key. Fine. Yes. So questions. If we declare more variables, how can we declare? I didn't got your question. You can declare as many variables as you want. No one is stopping you from that. So are they variables with default values or not? If they are variables not with default values, and if you have many variables, then you will be using variable file, a JSON file where you write the stuff. That's it. Okay. For VMware also we got a boot command. Just go through documentation. Go through a builder called as VMware, see the example and understand the different configuration items which you have given. Okay, if you follow this approach, it would help you to create an image in any environment that is supported by Packer. Yeah, while doing migrations from VMware to AWS, will we follow the same process for image creation and reuse? See, there are two kinds of migration. One is when you want to move the machine directly. That is not possible in 99.99% of the cases. That works only with specific environments. Okay, in all the other cases you will create the environment, and whenever you want to create the environments you will be using Packer. Okay, you'll be using Packer. That's it. Okay, sometimes for example some virtualizers are supported basically where you can move virtual machines directly to the cloud. So for example, if it is VMware based, let us assume your company is not using VMware, they use virtual boxes, then there is no way, you have to recreate it. Okay, so for recreation Packer comes into play, not for directly moving the stuff. All right. Yeah, can we create multiple images on same AWS account? Why not? But they cannot have same name. Give a different name every time, or use something like timestamp, which I have used. Then you can have Packer, Nginx, and every time it will give you some timestamp. That's it. All right. How to use post processor? I think go to the Packer zone. There is an example of Vagrant post processor. If you want to use any other post processor, you can do. Right. So post processor is basically used to create a Docker image, and I hate that approach. So if you want, you can give it a try. I would not tell it in the class because it would deviate from the benefits of Docker. దానివల్ల జరిగే మంచి కన్నా చెడు ఎక్కువ జరుగుతుంది. So that's why I don't basically encourage that approach. Yeah. Okay then. So let us meet tomorrow, and tomorrow we are going to discuss on basic AWS Azure machine creation. Okay, and Azure image creation, and then we will be discussing about Terraform. Right. Yeah. Okay then, thanks.